I'm 32M, and about a month ago, my friend Eric asked if he could stay at my place for a week while I was away on a work trip. He said his apartment was getting fumigated, and I trusted him. He's been a friend for years, and I didn't think twice. I gave him the keys, showed him where the extra blankets were, and left. When I got back, the first thing I noticed was the smell. My house has a certain scent: coffee, laundry detergent, maybe a hint of cedar from the furniture. But this was different. It was metallic, faintly sweet, and clung to the air in a way that made me want to keep the windows open. I brushed it off at first, figured maybe he cooked something weird or left food out, but then I noticed the living room rug was slightly crooked, like it had been pulled back and not fully replaced. When I lifted it, I found faint chalk markings underneath, circles, lines, and symbols I didn't recognize. They weren't there before. My stomach tightened, but I kept telling myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe Eric's into some New Age meditation thing? People draw symbols for all kinds of reasons, right? The bedroom was worse. My bedspread had been changed, replaced with a plain black sheet I'd never seen before. In the closet, my clothes were shoved to the side, and on the top shelf was a small wooden box. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity won. Inside were several burnt-out candles, some kind of dried herbs, and what looked like a Polaroid photo of me sleeping. I froze. My first thought was that it was some kind of sick joke. I mean, Eric must have taken it when I dozed off watching TV or something, right? But the photo looked recent, like within the last week. My throat went dry. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak and groan of the house had me on edge. Around 1 a.m., I heard something from the basement. A slow, deliberate shuffling. I grabbed a flashlight and crept down the stairs, but when I reached the bottom, nothing. Just shadows stretching across the concrete floor. I tried to tell myself it was the house settling, but the hairs on the back of my neck wouldn't go down. The next day I called Eric. No answer. I texted him asking what the hell all the stuff in my house was, but he just replied hours later with, "Don't worry about it." No explanation, nothing. I decided I wasn't spending another night here alone. I packed a bag and stayed at a hotel. The following morning, I went back to grab more clothes and noticed something that made my skin crawl. In the corner of my kitchen, there were 3 candles arranged in a triangle, unlit, but surrounded by small piles of salt. I hadn't left them there. I called the police. They told me to wait outside while they checked the place. 10 minutes later, one of the officers came out and asked if I'd given anyone permission to stay here. I told him about Eric. The officer looked at me for a long moment before saying, "We found someone in your basement." My stomach dropped. "Eric?" I asked. He shook his head. "No, a man in his late 40s. Do you know him?" I didn't. They pulled him out in handcuffs, and the moment I saw his face, I knew I had never met him in my life. He was thin, pale, with deep-set eyes that didn't blink enough. He stared at me like he knew me, like we'd spoken before, but I swear I'd remember someone like that. They searched him and found a folded piece of paper in his pocket. One of the officers opened it, frowned, and then looked at me. "It's your name," he said, "and today's date." The paper also had more of those strange symbols I'd seen under the rug. I asked what the hell was going on, but they didn't give me much, just that he was being taken in for trespassing and other potential charges. As they led him to the squad car, he turned his head and smiled at me. It wasn't a normal smile. It was slow, almost deliberate, like he wanted me to see every second of it. I haven't heard from Eric since. His phone goes straight to voicemail. The police are investigating, but they won't tell me what they think happened. I don't know how long that man had been in my house or what he planned to do, but I keep thinking about that note in his pocket, and the fact that when the police found him, he was standing in the exact same spot in the basement where I'd heard those footsteps the other night. One of the officers, as he was leaving, glanced at me and said quietly, "You should be glad you came home early."